that there are three ways or three paths of absorption of water in plants, which is called lateral flow of water. As for example, I told you in previous video that if we cut a section of root, transverse root, we will find different tissue level. The outermost layer is called epiblema, which contains root hair. Epiblema, which contains root hair, and some layers of cortex, which is made up of parenchymatous cells. There are some layers of cortex. The innermost layer of cortex is called endodermis. The cells of this are barrel shaped, and a single layer of pericycle, and at last xylem and phloem. In root, the vascular bundle are radial type. It means in one radius xylem stands and another radial phloem, and next also xylem, then phloem, then xylem, and again phloem, then xylem. So xylem and phloem are in different radius. Xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem. This is the characteristic feature of root anatomy. So the root here absorbed water and minerals from the soil and release this into the epiblema. And after that it reaches to the cortex cells, next layer, and at last to the endodermis, to the xylem. So this movement of water from soil through the root hair and epidermis and cortex endodermis to xylem, this is called lateral flow. So it is called path of absorption water, and this flow is lateral flow. And after that, this water and minerals movement upward to the stem and the leaf. That is called ascent of cell. Now today we will discuss about how many ways, how many paths of lateral flow of water from soil to the xylem. There are three paths. Number one, apoplast. Number two, symplast pathway. Symplast pathway. And number third, vacuolar pathway. Number one is called apoplast pathway, which is also called non-living pathway, Mirzi path. When in this process water is absorbed, water is absorbed through the root hairs. This cell is known as epidermis or epiblema, and from here to here, these are called cortex layer, epiblema, and cortex layer. 1, 2, 3, and many layers. And this is the innermost layer of cortex is called endodermis. And this is xylem. The movement of water from the soil through the root hairs or epidermis to the xylem is called lateral flow. We know that plant cell has cell wall. Cell wall is a non-living, and also intercellular space. cellular space is also non-living. In apoplast pathway of water absorption, which is called non-living pathway, the water moves through the cell wall, or through intercellular space. The space between two cells is called intercellular space, which is also non-living, or cell wall is also non-living. Only through the diffusion. That is plasmodesmata. When the root hair absorbs water through root hair, it passes through cell wall, rapidly up to the endodermis, or in between the gap of two cells, intercellular. Both the cell wall and intercellular are called non-living. But when the water reaches through the cell wall or intercellular up to the endodermis, the endodermis cell wall has a layer of suberin which is impermeable to water. After that, the water cannot pass through the suberin. After that, it comes to the plasma, cytoplasm. But from root hairs or epidermis to the endodermis, the water moves rapidly with diffusion by the cell wall or intercellular space. So it is called apoplast or non-living pathway. When the endodermis has suberin layer, the water molecule cannot pass it because it is impermeable to water. After that, water moves through the cell membrane into the plasma, into the cytoplasm of the endodermis. Then it is called transmembrane movement. Number 2, symplast. In this process, the water absorbed by the root hair do not pass through the cell wall or intercellular. This water reaches to the cytoplasm. And disperse into the cytoplasm. There is the slow movement of the water into the cytoplasm or protoplasm, and after that, from the plasmodesmata, a little gap between two adjacent cells, between two neighboring cells in their cell wall, it is called plasmodesmata. The water in symplast pathway, the water absorbed by the root hair is directly reached to the cytoplasm. And in the cytoplasm, the movement of water is very slow. And after that, it moves from one cell to another cell through plasmodesmata. And then to cytoplasm, and then through plasmodesmata. So the water moves very slowly through osmosis. Here osmosis is applied. And it needs energy. And it is the maximum resistance pathway. One person may be asked in board exams, which is the most resistant pathway to absorb the water in plants. So the answer is symplast pathway, because in this process water moves through cytoplasm, then plasmodesmata, through cytoplasm, then plasmodesmata, through cytoplasm, then plasmodesmata. So it needs a lot of time, it needs energy. So it is called living pathway. And it is the maximum resistance pathway. In this process, the water does not move through cell wall or intercellular space, only through the cytoplasm and plasmodesmata by the process of osmosis and it releases energy. Number third, vacuolar pathway. There is a slight difference in between the two methods. In the vacuolar pathway, the water absorbed by the root hair is passed from one cell to another cell through tonoplast and vacuoles. The cell membrane of vacuoles is called tonoplast. That is tonoplast, and whole structure is called vacuole. The water moves through the tonoplast into the vacuole, and after that through the cell membrane, not through the plasmodesmata, not through the and into the next tonoplast, into the vacuoles, and next to the cell membrane, into the next vacuoles. So it is also do the process of osmosis, and it also need energy. Both the symplast and vacuolar pathway needs energy. Both are in both process. Osmosis is required, energy is required, osmosis is required, and the speed of water movement is slow in comparison to the apoplast, and then endodermis to the xylem. So these are the three ways of water absorption in plants. Number one, apoplast; number two, symplast; and number third, vacuolar. Both are through osmosis, and both process needs energy. In which first symplast pathway, the water moves through cytoplasm and plasmodesmata. It is a very slow process. It is the maximum resistance pathway. And number two, vacuolar. In this process, the water moves through tonoplast and vacuoles, then cell membrane, tonoplast and vacuoles, then cell membrane, and it also needs energy, and it's also through osmosis. Now, the factors affecting water absorption, जल अवशोषण को प्रभावित करने वाले कारक. Factors affecting water absorption. We all know that the main source of water for plant is soil water. The water present in soil. If the amount of water is abundance in plenty, then the absorption is very high or sufficient. But when the soil water is reduced in amount, less in amount, the water absorption is also slowly. The water present in soil is called field capacity or water holding capacity. The root absorb water. Only those water which present in soil is called field capacity or water holding capacity. It is depend how much water is present in soil, so the plant absorb it. If the water is present in abundance and plenty, then the plant absorbs sufficient water, and if the water content is less, automatically plant absorbs less amount of water. This depends on field capacity or water holding capacity. And number two, permanent wilting percentage. So there are four factors which affect the water absorption in the plants. Number one, available water field, which has 2 points. Number one, water holding capacity, number 2, permanent wilting percentage. Number 2, aeration of soil aeration. Number 3, soil temperature. And number 4, concentration of soil solution. These are the 4 factors, 1, 2, 3 and 4, which affect the water addition in plants. Number 1, available water field. As I have already told you that if the soil in which the plant grows has sufficient amount of water, that is called field capacity. But the water holding capacity is the excess of water which is removed by the gravitational force. As we told you in last video that when mild rain occurs, not downpour, mild rain occurs, most of the water absorbed by the soil. But a large amount of water which is present in field capacity, it is removed by the gravitational force and reached to the groundwater level. Rest of the water which is present in field capacity is called water holding capacity. How much quantity of water the soil holds after removing the groundwater by the gravitational force? It is called water holding capacity. And water holding capacity is different type of soil such as sandy, loamy and other. So the loamy soil is the best for crops because it has sufficient water holding capacity. Number 2, permanent wilting percentage. It is that percentage of water or moisture. Permanent wilting percentage is the minimum percentage of water or moisture in the soil in which the plant grows. The leaves of that plant start to wilting permanently. किसी मृदा में उपस्थित जल की और न्यूनतम प्रतिशतता, मृदा में उपस्थित जल की और न्यूनतम प्रतिशतता जिसमें उगे हुए पौधे की पत्तियां पहली बार मुरझाना शुरू कर दें। विल्ट मतलब मुरझाना, सिकुड़ना, और वो फिर ठीक ना हो। इट मीन्स उस मृदा में पानी की परसेंटेज कम है जिसमें उगे हुए पौधों की पत्तियां पहली बार मुरझाना शुरू कर देती है। तो परमानेंट विल्टिंग परसेंटेज इज द मिनिमम water present in the soil in which the plant's leaves start to wilting permanently. It is called permanent wilting percentage. It also affects the water level. And number 2, soil aeration. You know that when we sow any seed in the soil, we plow the soil through block carts, through camels, through buffaloes, through tractors, through and other instruments. We plow. Why we plow the soil? Because when we plow the soil, we just alter the layer of soil. मिट्टी को पलट देते हैं, and after that air pass into the soil particles. The soil which has much aerated, the air present in between the soil particles, it is called soil aeration. And that soil which is much aerated, it absorbs much water, sufficient water. And this soil has no aeration. It means it is waterlogged. वाटर लॉग्ड यानी जल भराव, जलाक्रांत, बहुत ज्यादा अगर जल इकट्ठा हो जाए तो वहां की वायु बाहर निकल जाती है, कोई एयर नहीं होता है, ऐसे में वाटर एब्जॉर्प्शन कम हो जाता है या नहीं होता। तो दैट सॉइल विच कंटेन्स एयर इन सफिशिएंट वाटर, इन दिस सॉइल प्लांट्स एब्जॉर्ब वाटर sufficiently या in abundance quantity. But in the water-logged flood areas where the water filled in the field, no water absorbed. It means water-logging field has no aeration, so plant cannot absorb water. So it is also needed soil aeration. And number third, soil temperature. It is seen that the soil temperature ranges from 20 to 30 degrees centigrade. It is optimum the sufficient water erosion. The plant absorb water sufficiently या in adequate amount when the temperature of soil becomes 20 to 30, a range of 20 to 30. Above 30, the water absorption decreases. And below 20 it also reduces or decreases. 20 से कम तापमान होने पर भी जल अवशोषण कम हो जाती है, 30 से अधिक होने पर भी कम हो जाती है। सबसे अधिक जल अवशोषण कब होता है? जब मृदा का तापमान 20 से 30 डिग्री के परासमय रेंज में हो। Below 20 water absorption reduces and above 30 water absorption is also reduces. The best absorption water is becomes 20 to 30 degree centigrade range. And last, concentration of soil solution. If the soil water has more minerals or salts, it means it is hypertonic in comparison to the root hair cells concentration. If the minerals and salts are more dissolved in soil water, then the absorption of water is reduced because the soil water becomes hypertonic in comparison to the root hair concentration. मृदा विलयन की सांद्रता जब अधिक हो जाती है तो वाटर एब्जॉर्प्शन डिक्रीज जाता है। And when the concentration of soil solution is dilute less than root hair concentration, then water absorption is high. इंक्रीजेस, तो मृदा विलयन पर भी निर्भर करता है, यानी कि मृदा के क्रम में जल और खनिज लवणों की मात्रा कितनी घुली है। यदि वो अधिक घुली है तो मूल रूप से अवशोषण कम होता है, और यदि कम घुले हैं तनिक घुले हैं तो अधिक होता है। तो देयर आर 4 फैक्टर्स: अवेलेबल वाटर फील्ड, which has 2 point water holding capacity and permanent water holding percentage. Number 2, soil aeration. Number 3, soil temperature. And number 4, concentration of soil solution. Now, the portion of what absorption of water is complete. The another part of the topic is called ascent of cell. Ascent of cell, rasarohan. We study up to that plant absorb water through root hair to the xylem. That is called absorb water. And that water and dissolved minerals move upward to the apex of the shoot or the lateral parts of the plant. जड़ों के द्वारा अवशोषित जल का जाइलम तक पहुंचना और वहां से उस जल का पौधे के शीर्ष भाग तक या उसके पार्श्व भागों तक, आइदर लीफ और ब्रांचेज और फ्रूट्स और फ्लावर, ऊपर की ओर जो मूवमेंट है इसी को बोलते हैं एसेंट ऑफ सेल। द अपवर्ड मूवमेंट ऑफ एब्जॉर्बिंग वाटर फ्रॉम द xylem of root to the apex of the plant or lateral part of the plant is called ascent of cell, and it is mainly done by the xylem tissues. As we know from the 6th standard that xylem absorbs water and plant from root to the stem and leaf and only upward direction, and phloem carries food from leaf to the other part of the plant. So xylem, especially xylem has two elements. Number one is called vessels and number two is called tracheids. These two elements carry water from root to the stem and leaf or to the apex of the part. Let us demonstrate with a experiment. Take a balsam plant, balsam petiens plant, young plant, and cut it roots. Cut its roots. And put the plant into a beaker which is filled with water and safranin. Water plus safranin. We know that safranin is a dye which stains dead cells. Dead cells like skeletal chyma and lignin, which is present in vessels or tracheids. एक बालसम का तरुण या यंग पौधा लीजिए और उसको जड़ से थोड़ा ऊपर से हटा दीजिए, जड़ हटा देनी है। देन उस प्लांट को आप एक बीकर में डाल दें जिसमें पानी में क्या मिलाया गया हो, सैफ्रनिन। सैफ्रनिन एक अभिरंजक या डाई है जो मृत कोशिकाओं को रंगीन करता है, जैसे स्क्लेरल कायमा, क्लेडोतक या वाहिका और वाहिनिका। टेक द young balsam plant and cut its root and then dip into a solution where water is mixed with safranin. Safranin is a red colored dye. Strain. After watching 2 or 3 hours, after watching 2 to 3 hours, we find that water moves from the cut portion of the plant to the veins and veinlets. Veins or veinlets of the leaf becomes reddish. It means the plant absorbs dead water. When we cut the cross section of the leaf and see under microscope, so you will find that the red portion is only scleral chyma, vessels or tracheids, which are the part of xylem. So we can demonstrate by this experiment that water is absorbed by the xylem elements, especially by vessels and tracheids. I think you will understand better. किसी एक बालसम के तरुण पौधे को लीजिए, उसके जड़ को काट दीजिए और उस पौधे को ऐसे जल से भरे हुए बीकर में रखिए जिनमें सैफ्रनिन नाम का लाल अभिरंजक मिलाया गया हो, तो पूरा पानी लाल का रंगीन हो जाएगा। 2-3 घंटे के बाद हम अवलोकन करें या देखें तो हम देखेंगे उस पौधे की शिराएं, वेन्स एंड वेनलेट्स, शिराएं और सहायक शिराएं रंगीन हो जाती है, लाल रंग की दिखाई देती है। अब ये देखना कि वो लाल रंग के भाग कौन से हैं। देन वी कट ए क्रॉस सेक्शन या ट्रांसवर्स सेक्शन ऑफ लीफ and see under microscope, that we will find that the red colored portion is only of the xylem elements, either they are vessels or tracheids. So this experiment proves that water is absorbed through the xylem elements. Theories